The system has erred in its choice of target, yet he is stubbornly insistent that I proceed with this blunder. Are you serious, my friend? You want me, a man, to seduce the male protagonist? The system remained eerily calm. It's merely a job. Who hasn't made a blunder before? Just follow the procedure. He won't actually sleep with you. That night, clad in a shirt so sheer it was nearly transparent and adorned with a chest chain, I ascended to the protagonist's bed. Upon seeing me, his previously ferocious expression transformed into one of exuberance, akin to a dog leaping towards a bone. Oh, system, you wretched thing. 1. My system is quite the nuisance. It transported me a year prematurely into a novel where the female protagonist was still hundreds of miles away. Immersed in her senior year of high school, the male lead, Zhou Yan, assumed the archetypal role of the campus bully, frequently engaging in fights and skipping classes as if it were second nature. This system, bereft of parental affection, insisted on my playing SpongeBob for it. As a result, upon returning home from evening study, I was abruptly pulled into an alley by Zhou Yan, along with both myself and my phone. Without a moment's hesitation, I threw a punch at him, but he swiftly blocked my strike with his arm. In my astonishment, I caught sight of him accessing my phone. The screen's glow illuminated his face, his eyes downcast and expression indifferent. I distinctly observed him dialing 110. After completing this sequence, he finally deigned to acknowledge me, a mere innocent bystander. Saving a life is more meritorious than constructing a 7-story pagoda. I shall report this. His expression remained inscrutable, and when the call connected, his voice was steady and calm, reminiscent of a concerned passerby. You're fighting and calling the police? I found it difficult to fathom how these two concepts could be interconnected. Zhou Yan looked at me in bewilderment, as if questioning the absurdity of my inquiry. If I can't win, why would I call the police? Should I just wait to be beaten? That would be insane. He thrust my phone into my arms, then retrieved several red bills from his right pocket and handed them to me. A glance was enough to confirm there were at least 5 notes. Noticing my hesitation to accept, Zhou Yan, who had already turned his body to prepare for joining the fray, glanced back at me, his narrowed eyes appraising. Not enough. He began rummaging through his left pocket, taking a bit longer this time before tossing a few more notes my way. Then, with a fluid motion, he vaulted over a stack of cardboard boxes, and the sounds of an intensified scuffle erupted. I stood frozen for a brief moment, counting the money I had just picked up. 900, accompanied by a crumpled white math test paper that appeared to have been balled up multiple times. No wonder everyone was willing to be the male lead's lackey. It was more than I earned at my job. 2. Being the male lead's lackey is no easy task. I lingered there for a moment, only to find myself handcuffed by the police. After completing my statement, I emerged into the pitch-black night. I took the lead in departing, only to hear someone behind me cursing. Damn it, don't let me find out who called the police. What a dishonorable beast, lower than a pig or dog. Instinctively, I turned to glance at Zhou Yan. Given the darkness, I could only discern several silhouettes illuminated by a distant streetlight. The footsteps behind me suddenly halted. How come I haven't seen you before? Were you the one who foolishly called the police? The voice belonged to the very individual who had been hurling insults moments earlier. I noticed that Zhou Yan's gaze seemed fixed on me, reminiscent of a meme I once encountered. I will always keep my eyes on you. Truly, he was the most unrefined male lead I had ever encountered, although I had only seen this one. I remained silent, and the man, clearly growing impatient, approached me with heavy footsteps. The light from the street lamp momentarily illuminated his face, revealing a visage that bore an ominous edge, almost predatory. Zhou Yan took a couple of steps forward, bypassing the man, and casually remarked, I too wish to know which scoundrel called the police, ruining our affairs. We were supposed to settle things today, but apparently, that's not the case. Just as I reached the streetlight's glow, the brightness revealed Zhou Yan, who remained unfazed by the insults directed at him. In that fleeting moment, as I turned my head, Zhou Yan's expression shifted, his eyes wide with intensity as he stared at me, his throat bobbing. He murmured softly, he doesn't seem like that kind of person. The man scrutinized me for a moment, pausing in his tracks. Indeed, he doesn't. As the words left his lips, Zhou Yan had already closed the distance between us to less than a meter. This time, I could fully discern Zhou Yan's expression. Something felt amiss, particularly in the way he looked at me. His gaze appeared ravenous. Yet, the system insisted, no problem, don't make a fuss. There will be a time for you to make a fuss. I truly regretted not asking one more question. By the time I grasped the implication of that statement, it was far too late. 3. Zhou Yan approached me with a casual demeanor, stating, "You must be a student at our school, right? How come I've never seen you before?" His gaze remained fixed upon my face, lingering on the mole at the corner of my eye. His scrutiny was unsettling, yet upon closer inspection, I couldn't discern anything amiss. Instinctively, I raised my hand to rub my eye. "What's the matter? Do you memorize enrollment records?" I replied. "I should have been home long ago. It's your late-night brawling and phone snatching that has delayed me. Now you have the audacity to question me here. It's downright absurd." Zhou Yan's eyes darkened, and I couldn't tell if he registered my words, for his expression remained unchanged. His gaze drifted downward, landing on my lips. I frowned. "What are you doing?" This felt distinctly off, sending shivers down my spine. I queried the system. "Does your male lead have a mental illness?" The system replied matter-of-factly. "His data appears normal. He simply possesses a peculiar demeanor." "Is that all you can tell me?" Zhou Yan withdrew his gaze, seemingly oblivious to my underlying irritation, and continued to inquire, "Are you a recent transfer?" I detected a sense of urgency in his tone, prompting me to glance at him curiously. The system, unusually forthcoming, noted, "He finds you excessively attractive, which makes him feel threatened. But the female lead hasn't even appeared yet. Is he already worried about me enticing her? That's a bit premature." The system offered no further commentary. Meanwhile, Zhou Yan persisted, "When did you transfer?" Considering the $900 at stake, I could no longer maintain my indifference. "Are you annoying? Will you pay me for answering your questions?" Zhou Yan's eyes sparkled with newfound enthusiasm, as if he had found a breakthrough. He nodded vigorously, "Yes, 1,000 per question." This was beyond my capacity to maintain a stoic demeanor. The mere mention of money made me want to laugh. "All right then, young master, feel free to ask away. I shall divulge everything I know. I'm from your school. I just transferred last month." Zhou Yan nodded affirmatively, declaring, 2,000. "What's your name? Which class are you in? What do you like to eat? Do you have any dietary restrictions? What are your interests? What type of person do you prefer?" Such a barrage of inquiries. A thought crossed my mind and I suggested, "Look at us standing here. It's quite tiring. Let us find a place to sit and chat." The prospect of asking more questions could potentially net me enough for college tuition. The system had set me up as an orphan with no parents when it transported me here, a reality I shared. However, I truly couldn't comprehend how the author conceived a scenario where I would juggle studying for college while working part-time and simultaneously enticing the female lead. What kind of mind could dream up such a plot? But alas, that was of little consequence. What truly mattered was that Zhou Yan, this unwitting benefactor, agreed without hesitation. "Why not come to my house? I'll get you the money." He emphasized the words "get you the money," smiling, his mood evidently elevated. I sensed something was amiss, yet couldn't put my finger on it. Regardless, I was a grown man, and he couldn't do anything to me, so I decided to go along with it. "That works for me. Let us head there now." Zhou Yan appeared even more pleased. "Come in, I'll get you the money." These were Zhou Yan's words as he invited me inside. Without needing further prompting, I swiftly changed my shoes and followed him. "Let us go to my room. I'll get you the money. It wouldn't be appropriate for you to wait outside." The male protagonist possesses an unexpectedly courteous demeanor. I entered the room without any particular inclination, and Zhou Yan gestured towards the grand bed. "You can sit there. I don't have any chairs in my room. I'll go fetch your payment," he added. His tone, inadvertently laced with a hint of delight, felt strange. In such an expansive villa with opulent decor, there wasn't even a single chair in the room. "System. This is the nth time you've mentioned something strange today. What exactly seems odd?" Pondered. It feels somewhat perverse. "Are you speaking of me?" I was startled, realizing I had voiced my thoughts aloud. Zhou Yan leaned against the doorway, a leather belt in hand, observing me with a bemused expression. His long, fair fingers caressed the belt, a faint smile lingering at the corners of his lips. "What have I done to make you uncomfortable? Or do you perhaps harbor some misunderstanding about me?" I calculated in my mind. When a boss poses such questions, it usually implies a dismissal. "You must have misheard." Zhou Yan raised an eyebrow, neither confirming nor denying my statement. "Very well, now answer my question," he declared, striding towards me and sitting beside me. What is your name? With the thought of one question leading to 1,000, I answered without hesitation, Shen Cheng'an. As our exchange continued, I found myself increasingly convinced of Zhou Yan's eccentricity. While it was understandable for him to be curious about my preferences as he was to become my future rival, why on earth would he inquire about the color of my socks? System, tell me the truth. Is the male lead mentally unbalanced? I was perplexed. System, if he wishes to know, simply tell him. He isn't asking about the color of your underwear. Furthermore, if he were normal, how could he ask you 1,000 questions? It made sense. After all, earning money was paramount. To demonstrate my pragmatic work ethic, I promptly rolled up my pant leg, revealing here white. Zhou Yan's expression darkened slightly as he frowned. You shouldn't show such things so casually. Is he a fool? Asking questions yet refusing to look? I thought of the money and restrained myself, offering a nonchalant Zhou Yan stared at my socks for a moment before suddenly murmuring, they seem a bit tight. Let me help you. I glanced down and noticed he might be right. Following his lead, I queried, how will you assist me? Zhou Yan raised his hand, the warmth of his fingertips pressing against my calf, and I instinctively recoiled. His fingers, which had merely rested on my leg, suddenly tightened, creating a deep indentation. Do not move, he commanded, his voice slightly hoarse. Zhou Yan gripped my leg, tugging gently at the edge of my sock. The already snug opening dug into my skin, causing a patch of pale flesh to gather. His touch was gentle, yet perhaps it was the heat of his hand that made me feel a tingle. Just as I was about to struggle, Zhou Yan withdrew his hand, his fingers tapping rhythmically. The veins on the back of his hand stood out prominently due to the pressure. I heard his breath catch for a moment as he remarked, your legs are so fair, and the flesh is so soft. It seems like I could pinch water out of them. With a bit of pressure, they turn red. If I could pinch water, it would surely be blood. Thank you, you too, I replied with a forced smile. Zhou Yan remained transfixed, his gaze lingering on my lowered pant leg, murmuring, my flesh is firm. Would that bother you? He was even more bewildering than the bosses I encountered at work. Unable to decipher Zhou Yan's intentions, I sincerely responded, a bit of firmness is good. It signifies strength. Before Zhou Yan could reply, the system interjected. Host, sometimes remaining silent is preferable. Zhou Yan nodded thoughtfully, appearing somewhat warm, rolling up his sleeves in a few swift motions. The muscle definition he revealed indicated he indeed exercised regularly. I've heard you are quite formidable in a fight. Why then were you unable to defeat others? Why did you borrow my phone in the middle of it? He seemed to be boasting about his strength, challenging me. I couldn't help but respond with sarcasm. After a moment of silence, Zhou Yan clarified, it depends on how many opponents there are. If I can't win, I simply won't engage. They set up a fight with a crowd, and I only brought 2 friends. When 3 more arrived to assist them, I had no choice but to call the police. Of course, I couldn't use my own phone. A passerby was more suitable. After a brief pause, he continued, fortunately, you arrived. They might seek trouble with you in the coming days. Try to stay with me to avoid being bullied. Zhou Yan spoke with conviction, and my attention was immediately drawn to him. The male lead was surprisingly kind. The system suddenly chimed in. He has even more to offer. I was baffled by its disjointed statement and inquired, what do you mean? The system emitted 2 emotionless mechanical chuckles but provided no answer. After the system finished its riddle, it refused to engage with me further. When I lifted my gaze, I found Zhou Yan gazing at me with intense, profound eyes. I had no idea how long he had maintained this posture. I gestured for him to speak. Zhou Yan leaned closer. Your waist appears quite slender. May I measure it? His fingers twitched with eagerness, his eyes betraying an astonishing desire. I glanced at Zhou Yan's waist, which exuded a sense of strength. Was he trying to flaunt his daily workouts? Measure it quickly, I replied curtly. Zhou Yan looked at me but made no move, appearing inexplicably pitiful. Come on. I softened my tone, unable to resist urging him. He straightened the belt, leaning down to encircle my waist. He wrapped it around once, tightening the clasp. Only this far. You're quite thin, he remarked, pointing at the position of the belt buckle holes. I obediently glanced at it, only for Zhou Yan to suddenly pull hard, causing me to nearly topple into his arms. What I hadn't anticipated was Zhou Yan's unexpected endowment, which rather forcefully collided with my face. No wonder he was someone who exercised and fought regularly. My thoughts swirled in a tumult, my expression reflecting a mix of oddity. Zhou Yan chuckled softly, his words slow and deliberate. I want to. His trailing off swallowed his final words. What? Zhou Yan feigned innocence. I apologize, my hand slipped. Allow me to undo it. As he slowly unfastened the belt, he added, I'll transfer the money I mentioned earlier. I was too preoccupied with his sluggish pace to feel uncomfortable and immediately pulled up the QR code for payment. Zhou Yan glanced at it and casually suggested, let us add each other as friends. Once we completed the addition, he transferred the money in full. I regarded him as one would a deity of wealth. At least I wouldn't have to worry about 2 years' worth of university tuition. Zhou Yan turned his head, his tone cool. Do not look at me with such eyes. He hesitated, as if struggling to contain himself. Finally, he turned back, folding the belt in half and gently brushing it against my face. His gaze was laden with unspoken desires. Save it for later. Save it for later? Was he going to hit me? I couldn't tolerate it, so I quickly called out to the system. System. He's hitting me with a belt. Doesn't the male supporting character have any dignity? I deserve more money. The system's cold, mechanical voice responded. You will come to understand. It will feel quite pleasurable. What the hell is that even Chinese? After leaving Zhou Yan, I encountered him daily. The system indicated this was the law of main and supporting characters, where continual interactions triggered the plot. Even though the narrative had yet to commence, my interactions with the male lead ensured numerous opportunities for earnings. I understood that this meant increased chances for profit. In dealing with a boss, especially one who was generous and low maintenance, I found myself surprisingly agreeable, even to the point of shocking myself. My relationship with Zhou Yan progressed rapidly. I must admit, the male lead truly lived up to his title. Not only does he buy me food every day, but he also brings me home, sparing me the arduous 5-kilometer trek to class. I find myself utterly fatigued each day, collapsing into slumber the moment I finish my shower. Until one fateful night, I was abruptly awakened to find Zhou Yan wide awake, his gaze fixed intently upon me. He muttered incessantly, Why do you trust me so much? Am I truly a good person? His eyes remained open, posing the question repeatedly in the darkness. I gently patted his back, causing his body to stiffen instantly, as if I had unearthed a closely guarded secret. He froze, even holding his breath. You are now sleep, I reassured him. As my words faded, I felt an unexpected warmth enveloping me. I want to hold you, he confessed. Drowsiness overwhelmed me, and upon hearing the word hold, I groggily reached for his hand. The moment I touched him, Zhou Yan swiftly ensnared me, wrapping his body around mine with an eagerness that left no room for hesitation. Baby, he murmured, lowering his head to nuzzle against my face. A heavy wave of drowsiness washed over me, and I surrendered my thoughts to the system. What does he mean? Pondered. The system responded nonchalantly, Kiss him and you shall know. Reluctant to inquire further, I assumed it was of no grave consequence and drifted back to sleep. When I awoke the following morning, I found myself entangled with Zhou Yan in a most unseemly manner. My left leg lay draped over him, while my right leg was pinned beneath him, his hands resting possessively on my waist, ready to tighten their hold at any moment. I pushed him away, and he stirred awake. Up so early? He remarked, glancing at the time with a hint of confusion. You usually sleep until 7:30. His words were uttered while my right leg remained trapped beneath him. You're crushing my leg. How did we end up like this? Zhou Yan lowered his gaze. I'll be more careful next time. Oh, I replied, rising to change my clothes when the long silent system suddenly chimed in. Host, do you not find anything amiss? What do you mean? I asked, swiftly slipping into my clothes. Zhou Yan sat on the bed, his eyes almost palpably fixed upon me. Noticing my pause, he approached and, with remarkable ease, helped me adjust my clothing. Sit still. I'll dress you, he insisted. Before I could fully comprehend the situation, he had firmly pushed me back onto the bed, skillfully slipping my socks and shoes onto my feet. Once ready, Zhou Yan accompanied me to class. On the ride, Zhou Yan leaned against me to catch up on sleep, though he never truly dozed off, occasionally toying with my hand absent-mindedly. This was typical behavior, yet today he seemed particularly hesitant, as if grappling with unspoken words. What do you want to say? I prompted. Zhou Yan looked at me with a troubled expression, before finally saying, If I encounter difficulties, you would assist me, right? I silently apologized to him, for while he was indeed a good friend, I still had to pursue the heroine. Of course, I assured him. A genuine smile graced his lips. Actually, I've been sleeping poorly. Last night, I discovered that holding you helps me sleep well. Could we try that again? As expected, the protagonist harbored some peculiar affliction. I hesitated, and Zhou Yan's expression dimmed. Perhaps I was mistaken, thinking that given our relationship, I could rely on you. With those words hanging in the air, I had no choice but to nod in agreement. Zhou Yan immediately raised his head, slightly tilting his chin to indicate the space on his thigh. It's more comfortable this way. Hurry, we're almost at school. In recent times, Zhou Yan had been accompanying me to class regularly. After all, he would later strive diligently for various reasons, ultimately leading him to encounter the heroine in college, so I considered this a necessary foundation. To avoid disrupting our lessons, I reluctantly shifted onto my good friend's lap. Zhou Yan leaned down to embrace me, and the usually smooth ride suddenly jolted. Instinctively, I clung to Zhou Yan. He chuckled suddenly, a glint of mischief sparkling in his eyes. Before I could fully register the moment, he rested his head on my shoulder, his warm breath brushing against my ear, causing me to momentarily stiffen. If this is uncomfortable for you, perhaps I should move, I suggested, placing my hand against the top of his thigh, attempting to shift away. Yet, Zhou Yan abruptly adjusted his position, and by sheer momentum, I found myself back in his embrace. I mentioned that this is uncomfortable for me, I reiterated. The lightweight summer clothing left me acutely aware of his burning temperature. Zhou Yan remained silent, tightening his grip around my waist and pulling me closer into his hold. My attempts to struggle faltered, a tingling sensation coursing through my spine. Zhou Yan nibbled on my ear, the gentle bite feeling almost like a punishment. A soft sigh escaped his lips. Don't move. It's easy to lose control this early in the morning. I truly felt sensations I ought not to experience. Stiffly leaning against him, I dared not shift my weight, striving to maintain my balance. Zhou Yan glanced at me, saying nothing. Even I, who could be rather oblivious, recognized the oddity of the situation. Would Guan Yu and Zhang Fei behave this way? Upon alighting from the vehicle, I dashed away, urgently calling out to the system. Your male lead is acting strangely. How can he respond to his good friend like that? The system remained calm. Did he not mention that he struggles to maintain control in the morning? He had even contemplated using a belt on you before. Can you truly believe he harbors other intentions? Physiological responses are entirely normal. After delivering this series of questions, the system concluded coldly, you are overthinking it. Despite this, I resolved to keep my distance from Zhou Yan. An unsettling sensation crept back into my mind. Fortunately, we were in different classes, and after making an excuse about needing to catch up on assignments, I managed to escape without him pursuing me. What once seemed ordinary now felt increasingly peculiar. My desk was by the window, and Zhou Yan had developed a habit of waiting outside after class to chat with me, even following me to the restroom. When the bell rang, I quickly laid my head down on the desk, feigning sleep. Before long, I felt his familiar gaze upon me. I slightly opened my eyes to see a shadow cast over my desk. Without a doubt, it was Zhou Yan. He stood by my side for a while, making no move until the class bell rang, at which point I sensed his intense gaze finally shift away. The entire morning followed this repetitive cycle. During the last class, my desk mate leaned over to ask, "Did you two have a fight?" Seizing the moment when the teacher turned to write on the board, I whispered back, "No, I'm just tired. But he called your name just now. I saw your finger move, and you ignored him." Zhou Yan seemed to notice too. His expression looked rather ominous, as if he might devour someone. My hand faltered as I took notes. Zhou Yan had been exceptionally kind to me these past few days, and I had almost forgotten that he could be quite temperamental. I sighed inwardly, inquiring of the system when the heroine would make her appearance. The system replied with a series of beeps before stating, "I'm not sure. I only handle your plot tasks." However, my colleague mentioned that the male and female leads will meet after the college entrance examination. Counting down the days on my fingers, I realized it was approaching. Perhaps it was best to distance myself from Zhou Yan for the time being. However, during the lunch break, I could not avoid encountering him. Zhou Yan was, as usual, waiting at the door for me to return home for a meal. My thoughts swirled internally before I finally spoke. "Brother, thank you for everything lately, but I feel like I've been imposing too much on you. I think I should return home to live. A bit of distance will serve as good exercise." Zhou Yan remained silent, his expression as cold as ice. His prolonged silence prompted me to speak again. It's not your fault. I genuinely appreciate your help. However, living at your place continuously isn't ideal. Transitioning from luxury to frugality is challenging, and it has spoiled my appetite. What will I do in the future? I endeavored to make my reasoning sound less superficial. Yet, it was patently clear that I failed to persuade Zhou Yan, who took an agonizingly long time to respond. Why not? You can stay at my place indefinitely. I can take you wherever I go, spend my money on you, and support you for a lifetime. A foreboding sense of dread settled in my heart. What do you mean? Zhou Yan inhaled deeply, gripping his trembling hands tightly. What I mean is, I need you. Without you, I cannot sleep well. In return, I can share everything I have with you. You are my best friend. Throughout my life, you are the only one who has been sincere with me. The more I listened, the guiltier I felt, for my intentions were purely to obtain his wealth. Aren't we good friends? Or do you actually despise me? His tone was gentle, yet it clashed grotesquely with his expression. Zhou Yan wore no smile. His eyes were dark and profound, yet they concealed emotions that seemed to twist painfully beneath the surface. I stepped back slightly. Zhou Yan clenched his fists tightly, with one hand braced against the doorframe. Chang'an, come home with me. Shall we go back for a meal? His entire hand trembled uncontrollably, revealing the effort he was exerting to control his emotions. While I contemplated, the usually unflappable system suddenly urged me. Go with him. You wouldn't want to know the consequences. But I began to speak, and the system seemed to anticipate my inquiry. No, he won't harm you. Tentatively, I moved closer. Are you all right? Zhou Yan bit his lip and nodded slightly. He asked once more, will you come home with me? I replied, all right. A warm body enveloped me. After what felt like an eternity, I heard him say, I thought you didn't want me anymore. A drop of warmth struck my collarbone. A tear from Zhou Yan. It made me shiver involuntarily, and he suddenly remarked, do you think I'm pitiful? If you come home with me, I won't be pitiful anymore. The system chimed in. See, he craves love. He simply cannot bear to part with a good brother like you. I patted Zhou Yan's back repeatedly, saying, buddy, don't cry. I truly consider you a friend. As long as you don't annoy me, I'll go home with you. Many years later, I would reflect on this moment and realize that this tear, which left me at a loss, was merely a part of his scheme. He transformed into a drenched dog, seeking to elicit my sympathy. When compassion turned into heartache, love began to blossom. From that day forward, Zhou Yan clung to me even tighter. However, apart from his fondness for hugging me, he exhibited no other affectionate gestures. It seemed that, as he claimed, he genuinely needed me due to his sleeplessness. I felt considerably reassured, especially since the system assured me that after the college entrance examination, the male and female leads would reunite, and once I completed the storyline, I would receive the 10 million promised by the system to elegantly exit. Time flowed by like a river, and the countdown to the examination reached 0. After the first exam, the striking Zhou Yan was intercepted by reporters for an interview. When asked about his future plans, he chuckled, I plan to venture into the world with my good friend. The youthful exuberance amused netizens. I inquired, where shall we venture? Zhou Yan beamed, you decide. Just take me with you. I returned his smile, if you are willing to come with me. Once the female lead appeared, Zhou Yan and I would have to part ways. Yet, in this moment he was oblivious, his eyes sparkling with joy, clear as crystal, and I could only silently apologize in my heart. After the college entrance examination, everyone began to contemplate their university applications. Zhou Yan repeatedly confirmed with me, you will apply to University A, right? The male lead, a favored child of fate, could catch up on 3 years of high school knowledge within a year and still aim for University A. Fate indeed seemed unfair. I sighed and replied earnestly, yes, my goal is University A. After all, the female lead, the object of my mission, would appear at University A. Unsurprisingly, both Zhou Yan and I were accepted into University A, albeit in different majors. Zhou Yan chose a lesser-known field that allowed for adjustment, and he was elated. Curiously, despite my supposed joy, I felt a weight in my heart. Zhou Yan was truly a remarkable person. If circumstances permitted, I would gladly be his friend. Alas, there were no ifs. I had come for this mission, destined to stand opposed to him. Throughout the summer, wherever Zhou Yan was, I was there too. I had anticipated that once we entered university, Zhou Yan would naturally distance himself from me, yet that never occurred. He became even more fervent. When someone posted his photo on the confession wall, he replied, playing with me, I only wish to be with Shin Chang'in. I have no interest in anyone else, living or dead. When someone posted my photo, he went into a frenzy. Streamer, the happiness link I ordered from you last time was supposed to be 1 for 3. Why did I receive a third wheel? I asked him why he responded that way, and Zhou Yan boldly stated, isn't a third wheel in friendship still a third wheel? I was at a loss for words. Before classes even began, my classmates were already aware of my good friend named Zhou Yan. I became the first person they recognized in the class. After all, based on my past experience, even after 4 years of university, I might not be able to recognize all my classmates' faces. Despite being in different majors, Zhou Yan found ways to spend time with me. I simultaneously wished for the plot to progress swiftly while also contemplating how nice it would be if the story didn't advance. Chang'in, I have something to attend to. Please eat first. When I received this message, I was taken aback for quite some time. Then, I felt a sense of relief. The plot was beginning, and the male and female leads were meeting. While eating, I stumbled upon Zhou Yan on the confession wall. He was wearing the white shirt I had chosen for him, a smile gracing his face. The girl beside him donned a white top and blue bottom, exuding a gentle and fresh demeanor. The two walked side by side, the essence of youth enveloping them. They truly matched the descriptions of the male and female leads in the novel. As usual, I finished my meal and returned my tray to the recycling area. Just as I was about to exit the cafeteria, the system queried me, Host, are you ready? I am about to initiate task tracking. I lowered my head to glance at the photo on the confession wall, silently apologizing. I truly did not intend to become the third wheel, nor did I mean to lure the female lead. Confirmed. The system asked again. You took 2 hours for this meal. You usually take 30 to 40 minutes. Host, are you alright? I felt a surge of embarrassment and irritation. I'm perfectly fine. Ask again and I'll self-destruct. I guarantee I won't let you die. After this inexplicable statement, the system suddenly emitted a sharp, piercing sound. Host, I seem to have misidentified your target for the strategy. You need to seduce the male lead. It sounded like Chinese, but I couldn't comprehend it. I needed a moment to process. After several minutes of silence, the system still did not clarify. It indeed meant what I thought it did. Wait, are you telling me, as a male, to seduce the male lead? Yes, my beloved good brother. The system remained eerily calm. It's just work. Who hasn't he made a blunder? Just follow the process. He won't actually sleep with you. According to the plot, I would fall head over heels for the female lead at first sight, but she wouldn't reciprocate my feelings. The wrath of the heavens would lead to countless casualties. In a fit of rage, I donned a transparent shirt and adorned myself with a golden chest chain to climb into bed, only to be beaten half to death by the male lead. Now, the person I was meant to seduce had become Zhou Yan. This was dire. Chang'in, I am not well acquainted with the girl in this photograph. I have no idea why I was captured in this frame. I merely exchanged a few words with her. I genuinely had matters to attend to at noon, which had nothing to do with her. Please do not misunderstand. Zhou Yan, aware that I often peruse the confession wall to pass the time, hurriedly sought me out to clarify upon his return. I am aware. You need not explain, I replied. Zhou Yan fell silent, refraining from further words, and embraced me. My roommate, accustomed to our dynamic, sidled past us with her toiletries. This was primarily due to the fact that Zhou Yan offered much, prompting everyone to indulge him. Moreover, he was generally quite amiable. It's their fault for taking random photos. I've already had them deleted. Thankfully, you did not misinterpret my actions. His tone bore a hint of relief, though it was overshadowed by an indescribable heaviness. Chang'in, what is it? I inquired, lifting my gaze from his embrace in confusion. Zhou Yan shook his head, a somewhat forced smile gracing his lips. Do not abandon me. I belong to you. I had grown accustomed to his occasional eccentricities, his utterances that sometimes eluded my understanding. I patted his shoulder. Good brother for a lifetime. I silently added in my heart. If only you could overlook my attempts to seduce you. I assure you, I am not coveting you, my brother. Circumstances compel me. As before, the days that followed saw Zhou Yan continuing to accompany me for meals, doing my laundry, and holding me as we slept. On Wednesday, he invited me out for dinner. According to the narrative, it was on this very night that I would seduce the female lead, who is now Zhou Yan. I arrived at the designated location, filled with trepidation, only to find myself alone with Zhou Yan. What pressing matter required me to be summoned? Zhou Yan gestured for me to observe the table, where a cake had been meticulously crafted to resemble a half-island, adorned with the words, "Happy birthday." It dawned on me that today was, indeed, my birthday. When the system transported me into this world, it likely retained these fundamental details for convenience, albeit in a somewhat jumbled manner. Zhou Yan appeared somewhat uncomfortable. Well, I learned but did not master it. My handwriting has always been poor. Please bear with me. I am unaware of your precise birth details. Thus I based it on the information I could gather. I hope you can forgive my presumptuousness. As a melodious piano tune filled the restaurant, Zhou Yan presented me with a gift box. Inside lay a bracelet. I crafted this bracelet from the 10 places I cherish most, hoping that we might one day visit them together. He added, "This stone has endured centuries of erosion on Sardinia, bearing the marks of flowing water. This one hails from the Hulunber grasslands, the most ordinary stone I found when I was 10, yet it is the most precious to me, taken from beside my mother's grave. Chang'an, I wish to give you everything I possess. I hope for your happiness and health, and that you shall always be mine." He paused, his tone tinged with reluctance. A good friend. Just a good friend to me. I couldn't help but think how wonderful Zhou Yan truly was. We exchanged a fist bump, a silent promise. Outside, the lights sparkled, but none shone as brightly as Zhou Yan's eyes. This could have been a splendid evening, had it not been for my damned mission. It's going to be late when we return. Let us rest outside. Zhou Yan readily acquiesced to my request. That night, I retrieved the golden chest chain that the system had prepared for me, which cascaded down my neck into the depths of my collar, evoking an irresistible curiosity. However, upon donning a shirt so thin it bordered on transparency, I fell into a contemplative silence. This was far too scandalous. It was more embarrassing than being unclothed. At least without a top, one could maintain a semblance of dignity. This sheer shirt clung to me like gossamer, revealing everything beneath, even the delicate contours of my chest. The shorts I wore were athletic yet absurdly featured transparent sections on either side, exposing my thighs and the edges of my underwear. System, you are utterly depraved for providing me with such clothing. I stood before the mirror, caught in a dilemma. Moments ago, I had sent Zhou Yan out for a late-night snack while I changed clothes in preparation for the unfolding narrative. Yet, facing this attire, I could scarcely fathom how Zhou Yan would perceive me. The system retorted, "That is because you do not yet grasp the depths of depravity, but I do." After that, it ceased to respond. With no recourse, I climbed into bed, pulling the covers tightly around myself, praying Zhou Yan would come in and not be curious about my face. I anxiously awaited for what felt like an eternity until I finally heard the sound of the door opening. Chang and Zhou Yan called out for a while, receiving no reply. At that moment, his phone chimed, likely a scheduled message from me indicating I had returned. I heard him typing furiously, and he continued for quite some time before finally stopping. I was relieved that my phone had been turned off. Noticing the disarray on the bed, Zhou Yan approached with heavy footsteps, his voice tinged with anger as he reached for my covers. I clung to them desperately, struggling to breathe, my eyes widening as I met Zhou Yan's furious gaze. The moment he laid eyes on me, his wrath morphed into a disbelieving ecstasy. "Baby." Zhou Yan's Adam's apple bobbed as his voice turned hoarse. I opened my mouth to explain, but he seized my hand and leaned down to kiss me. His powerful legs pinned me firmly to the bed. A chill enveloped me as he lifted the covers, revealing my sheer shirt and the golden chest chain beneath. Desire surged in his eyes, and in an instant, his body became aflame. Zhou Yan leaned closer, whispering in my ear with a teasing laugh, "I adore this. Baby, I truly love this. I wish to die together with you on this bed." My eyes widened in shock. I did not wish for that. "Zhou Yan, please calm down. Let me explain. This is actually..." He regarded me with keen interest, but after a few seconds, he silenced me by capturing my lips. My words were shattered and swallowed. "Baby, what are you babbling about?" I gasped for breath, but he kissed me anew. Pulling away momentarily, I completed my sentence. "So adorable. I don't want to hear anything. I just want to kiss." As he kissed me, his tongue skillfully danced within my mouth, and his hands roamed over my body, beginning to unfasten my buttons. The chest chain I wore acted as a catalyst, driving Zhou Yan to greater frenzy. The night dragged on, sleep eluding me. Zhou Yan was indeed a man of frequent exercise. I felt it keenly. I wished for it all to end. Damn the system. Cursed be the system. This was nothing like what it had promised. The system chuckled. Host, did you enjoy it? Did you not scream all night? I was infuriated. You come and experience it. Enjoy it if you dare. The system, bewildered, replied, I don't believe you. I spent a night locked in a small dark room. I felt too ashamed to face the system. I wanted to die, yet I still had to argue my case. You said he wouldn't. What now? What will happen to my million? I shall never forgive you, you heartless being. The system's tone grew more indifferent. The mission has been accomplished. Did you think I would be so foolish? Your task was always to seduce the male lead. He has always held feelings for you. Otherwise, do you think I would have let SpongeBob slip away? Why else do you think he treats you so well? I lay sprawled on the bed like a pancake. Damn the system, damn the capitalist. Couldn't you just tell me outright? The system, unyielding, retorted, what if I told you directly and you refused to comply? I pondered for a moment. If it were Zhou Yan, I wouldn't hesitate to accept another 10 million. At this point, the system was rendered speechless. After approximately half a minute, it responded, had you not been dissatisfied earlier, you would have agreed. Enough already. I genuinely wished to find a van to obliterate this system. The system discerned my innermost thoughts. You cannot find anyone, nor can you destroy me. The 10 million will be transferred to you this Wednesday. Continue to enjoy yourself. Wait a moment, what about the female lead? The system interjected, there is no female lead. This world was devoid of any romantic pairings before your arrival. After you came, it became a dual male lead narrative. Are you referring to the girl in that photograph? Zhou Yan mentioned to you that they merely exchanged a few words. Why did they converse? It was because that girl wished Zhou Yan and you a love that endures through the ages, triumphing over societal norms. TSK, TSK. Your Zhou Yan was beaming like the sun upon hearing that. He truly had matters to attend to that day. The birthday gift you received was not easily acquired. Zhou Yan exerted considerable effort. He was solely focused on preparing for your birthday. You are overthinking this. There is absolutely no female lead. I felt utterly foolish. Upon reflection, it was evident that I had been misled. Yet I believed the system's words without question. Surely, there must have been a reason for your choice of me? The system, unusually animated, revealed the excitement in its tone. You finally asked me. Indeed, we scoured countless small worlds before discovering you. You see, some individuals pass their entire lives without encountering their destined love, and the odds of this are quite significant. Setting aside temporal factors, two souls that resonate with one another may not even exist within the same realm. It's quite normal for someone to fall in love with a two-dimensional character 3 times or so. In other words, you are Zhou Yan's fated one. Without you, he lacks any romantic storyline. Your presence grants him that. Do not accuse me of deceit. I can perceive your emotions. You have been enjoying this all along. You are currently reveling in it. Enough already. I couldn't take it anymore. I found myself unable to confront the system, my face buried in my hands in frustration. Just then, Zhou Yan walked in. He gently pulled my hands away, his gaze tender. Darling, does it hurt? I bought you some medicine. Shall I apply it now? I heard the system chuckling and simply closed my eyes, nodding. The pain was mine alone. There was no need to be at odds with myself. Zhou Yan carefully applied the medicine, holding me as he always did. Chang'an, I feel as though I am in a dream. The moment I first laid eyes on you, I was captivated. When you turned around, it was perfectly illuminated by the streetlight. He confessed, my heart raced so swiftly. From that moment, I longed to be your devoted servant. I recalled the belt he wielded last night, finally comprehending his previous words and his consistently peculiar behaviors. Displeased, I slapped him lightly. You are just driven by lust. Zhou Yan paused, lowering his head suddenly. Darling, hit me again. Reward me once more, would you? This infuriating man, I truly cannot. Yet, I must admit, it was rather enjoyable. The end of the tale. Thank you for listening, and until we meet again in the next story.